The amount of questions I've gotten about the YouTube Content ID system is insane. All about how do I put my music into the Content ID system? How do I get it so if someone uses my song in their YouTube video that it gets flagged, or basically your name appears and you get the revenue from that video? And I'm gonna tell you, it is 100% not worth it. There's only one real case that you should add your music into the YouTube Content ID system, and that is if you're a massively famous artist. And if you are a massive artist, you probably already have your music released and put in the YouTube Content ID system. Now, here's the reason why it's not worth it for almost everybody. Unless you're in that massively small group of artists that happens to be huge, here's the reason why it's not worth it. On DistroKid, for example, which is my favorite independent music distributor, in order to use the YouTube Content ID system, it's $5 and they take a percentage of your revenue. It's $5 a year plus the percentage, I think it's like 20% or something like that, of your revenue that you make. Now, here's where things get super tricky though. That means you need to make at least $5 a year from YouTube ads, or you're losing money. For example, if you pay all that money to have your music in the Content ID system, and then let's say you make only $2, you actually just lost $3. So you have to make at least $5 a year. And I know that sounds very small. You're like, well, Mark, it's only $5 a year. I can easily do that through YouTube ads. But here's something that I think a lot of artists overlook. And for me, not only am I a musician, but I'm also a YouTuber. I've been a full-time YouTuber for about half a decade now, so I know a lot about YouTube and YouTube analytics and SEO and all this kind of stuff that comes with YouTube. And here's the harsh truth. There's really two ways you can actually make a lot of money having your music in the Content ID system. Number one is it appears in a lot of videos. And number two, and this is kind of similar to number one, but kind of different, I will say, is that your music appears in a huge video. Let's say you appear in a video by Mr. Beast or Logan Paul or PewDiePie or one of these massive YouTubers, you'll get a cut of that revenue, and I promise you, it's gonna be a good chunk of change, right? Because obviously they're so big on YouTube. However, and this is the big asterisk that a lot of artists overlook, all the biggest YouTubers in the world, why would they use a song that will get flagged by the Content ID system just to give all of their revenue away? I promise you, none of them are gonna do that, including me. I only use my own music in my own YouTube videos because one, obviously helps promote it, right? But two is because I don't have to worry about giving my revenue to somebody else when I made a video. In addition, like I said with the first instance, that the only way you can make money on YouTube through the Content ID system is to have your song in a bunch of videos. Well, guess what? That means you need to have, and again, it depends on the views and a bunch of different metrics, but you may need to have 20, 30, 40, 50 different YouTubers say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna use this random song for whatever reason, and also, I'm gonna give up all the revenue from this video and give it to this artist. The chance of that happening is slim to none. That's why I suggest that the ROI of you using that YouTube Content ID system, whether it's on DistroKid or any other platform, is just not worth it. Because again, the only way you can make money from your songs being in the Content ID system is if other YouTubers are willing to give up their revenue, and let's be honest, why would they, to you just to have your song in their video. And I think a lot of artists sometimes, especially the YouTube Content ID system situation, think, oh, well, once I put it on the YouTube Content ID system, once I release this album or this single, everybody's gonna use my song. Where one, they have to discover it. If you're a small artist, that's a whole promotional issue you have to worry about. Your song has to be heard by so many people, including YouTubers, that some YouTubers decide to use it in their videos. And two, and this is important, that those YouTubers are willing to give up that revenue. Because I'm gonna be honest, let's say I use someone else's song in my video on YouTube, and then all of a sudden I see that annoying mark that says, hey, sorry, you can't make money off this video. This one song you used is copyrighted. I'll remove that song. YouTube now has features that allow you to remove copyrighted songs so that way you can keep getting the revenue from that video. YouTube now has features that you can completely add in a new song in the middle of the video if, let's say, you happen to use someone else's song that is copyrighted, and YouTube has a bunch of copyright-free songs or non-copyrighted songs that you can use in your content. In addition, there's channels like NCS, or non-copyrighted sounds, that have a huge database of hundreds, if not thousands of songs that you can use completely for free and not worry about any copyright infringement. And I have had some people hit me up saying, hey Mark, but I saw someone on YouTube used my song in their video, they didn't give me credit, blah, blah. Good. Like, honestly, good. Like, any single time someone uses one of my songs, I'm happy about that. Of all of the songs that exist in the ethos, they happen to use my own track. And what I usually do is I'll reach out to them. Typically, they reach out to me first. But let's say if I hear it in a random video, I'll reach out to them saying, hey, thank you so much for using my music in your videos. That means a lot to me. If you don't mind, do you mind just linking to my YouTube channel or linking to my SoundCloud or Spotify just to give me a promotional shout out? And I will say this too, most YouTubers do that anyway, but in case they didn't do that in their description, I will ask them to do that because I'd much rather have all my songs be able to be used in tons of different videos that other people can monetize and they don't have to worry about copyright infringement, and I get all that free promotion than I would having all my songs in the Content ID database and now nobody wants to use my music, whether they're a YouTuber, a streamer, a content creator, whatever they do, because they'll get flagged. 100%. The Content ID system on YouTube, not worth it.